Hey kids, I hope y'all are doing well amid this craziness. I hope y'all are having fun. I so much want to see y'all back here at church, but hopefully soon we'll be able to be back. But till then, I get to read to y'all. That's kind of fun. And so one of my favorite books that we used to use with my kids was the Jesus Storybook Bible. So we're reading out of that, and I get to read about the three wise men. And they title this The King of All Kings. And so I'm going to start reading that, and as we look toward Easter, it's getting close. We got Jesus getting ready to be born, so this is kind of fun. So listen up. Here we go. I tell you what, I'm actually going to let y'all read like this. Far away in the east, three clever men saw the very same star, the star that God had put in the sky when Jesus was born. They knew it was a sign. A baby king had been born. They had been waiting for this star. They knew it would come. He's here, they shouted. He's here. And I'm sure if you'd been there, you'd have heard them laughing and dancing and singing until the sun came up. At dawn, they packed up their camels, wrapped up the gifts for the baby. They brought their most precious treasures of all, frankincense, gold, and, that's right, myrrh. Special, sparkly, lovey-smelling, gleaming things, just right for a king. The three wise men, actually, if you'd met them, you'd have thought they were kings because they were so rich and clever and important looking. They set off. They rode on their camels across endless deserts, up steep, steep mountains, down into deep, deep valleys, through raging rivers, over grassy plains, night and day, day and night, for hours that turned into days, that turned into, have you ever been on that long of a trip? And turned into weeks, that turned into months and months. It's kind of like the coronavirus thing right now. That lasts, and they reached Jerusalem. Jerusalem was by far the most important city from miles around, as anyone can tell. That's where a palace would be, and kings are born in palaces. So that's where they went. But they were in for a surprise. They went to see King Herod. Surely he'd know where that baby was. But he didn't. In fact, he didn't like the sound of a new king. It made him cross. He didn't want anyone to be king except him. But Herod's advisors told the three wise men what was written in their books, what God had said about the baby king. Go to Bethlehem. That's where you'll find him. Suddenly, the star that had been seen in the east started moving again, showing them the way. So the three wise men followed the star out of the big city, along the road, into the little town of Bethlehem. They followed the star into the streets of Bethlehem, out of the nice part of town, through the not so nice part of town, and into the not really so nice part of town, down to a dirt track until it stopped right over a little house. But wait, it wasn't a palace, and there weren't any guards, or servants, or flags, or red carpets, or trumpets, or anything. Did they get wrong directions? Or was that what God meant? We'll find out. Sure enough, in that little house, there sitting on his mother's knee, they found him, the baby king. The three men knelt down before the little king. They took off their rich royal turbans and gleaming golden crowns. They bowed their noble heads to the ground and gave him their sparkling treasures. You see those three gifts? There's 1, 2, 3. Jesus is not a baby anymore. Remember, the wise men, they came after he was born. A little bit after. So it says in the Bible they were in a house. The journey that had begun so many centuries before had led three wise men here to a little town, to a little house, to a little child, to the king God had promised David all those years. But this child was a new kind of king. Though he was the Prince of Heaven, he had become poor. Though he was the mighty God, he had become a helpless baby.
The king didn't come to be the boss. He came to be a servant. And that is the end of that story. And I hope y'all keep reading and getting ready. Make sure you read your Bibles. Make sure you can follow along for the other ones that are coming up online as we get ready for Easter. Good to talk to y'all, guys. Talk to you later.